Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day. Today we're gonna talk all things automotive. We're gonna cover Fisker's bankruptcy and the legal troubles. We're gonna touch base on other automotive players that are also in deep financial trouble. And in relation to this, we're gonna talk about the recent Tesla's announcement of Robotaxi and what it means for the whole ride-hailing industry. So let's dive into it. First of all, Fisker going bust is not news. Fisker is a US-based automotive company which focused on EV car production. They filed for bankruptcy back in June, July 2024. And if we look at their financials, they were in deep trouble. They have been able to generate 273 million in 2024, and they have lost about a billion. And on top of this, they also own 850 million to the bondholders, which basically means that they are in 2 billion deep trouble. Their flagship car, Fisker Ocean, used to cost 39K for the basic model and 43K for a more advanced premium option. But now, after the news of them going bankrupt, the price has plummeted to literally 22K in retail. On top of this, they had a bunch of inventory, about 3,200 cars, and all of those cars were immediately bought out by Uber and Lyft for a bargain of a price of 13K a car. Why did it happen? So first of all, the biggest blocker that they had was the distribution chain. So initially they decided to go with direct to consumer, but after a while they have realized that this model is too costly and the acquisition cost per customer doesn't really make sense for the unit economics. And they decided to transition to a dealership model by building partnerships with key dealers all across US. But by that time, that was already too late. Second issue, they really had some managerial and financial troubles. As we know, based on the open reports, some of the cars were shipped, payments were not received, some checks were lost. There was just a lot of financial mess going around with some lost revenue at the end of the day. And on top of it, the company had spare part issues, had hardware issues, like brake issues. That sounds pretty tough. They had software issues like glitches, like unresponsive Bluetooth, touchscreen, and so on and so forth. So all of this has accumulated into deep trouble for Fisker, resulting in bankruptcy. But on top of this, they can't really exit this situation quite easily. Their initial intent was, hey, we're going to sell our cars, we're going to cover whatever we can with the revenues received, and then we're going to halt all of the support of the remaining cars on the market. But it turns out that they legally cannot do it. So they will have to continue supporting or providing some minimal support for the cars that they have out there on the roads, which is deep trouble for the company. Also, we know that Nissan were a potential lifeline for the company. In spring, they were negotiating a deal, but it didn't really work out. Funnily enough, it's not the first time the CEO of this company, Henrik Fisker, files for bankruptcy. Literally 10 years ago, he had an identical situation with Karma, hybrid car manufacturer. He's basically following the same playbook. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. On top of it, if we look beyond Fisker, there are also other car manufacturers that are in deep trouble. So one of them is Lucid. In 2023, they lost $2.8 billion. And another one is Rivian. And over the same time span, they have lost 5.5 billion. Just insane. And if we look at the time span of 5 years, they have lost close to 16 billion. Yes, manufacturing cars is an expensive business. But why are those novel manufacturers in such a deep trouble? The reason being is that an average engineering team can come up with a design and build the basic prototype of a car. The key and the hardest part of this business model is building production and distribution at scale. This is where Tesla has been really great at. They have nailed every single step of this operational process, down to the nook and cranny. They are not supplier dependent. They manufacture most of their components in-house and they fully control this process. And just getting into this business, it's super hard and you have to be aware of this. Like, hardware is hard. Yes. And now, since we touched base on Tesla, there were recent news about unveiling of Robotaxi. Probably it's going to come in a few days, like 3-4 days or something. And for the context, Tesla has been working on autonomous driving for more than 10 years already and made a lot of promises all the way. And so far, most of those promises regarding the level of autonomous driving, and for the context, there are 5 different levels, with 5th being complete autonomous, and none of the developers currently have that capability. They have broken all of the timelines, all of the deadlines, and all of the promises they made on that front. However, they're still bullish and they're still investing into their technology. And I believe they have a certain technological advantage here. So their key advantage is they have Teslas roaming around globally. And each car has 8 cameras and multiple sensors on them. All those cameras continuously transmit video stream. And based on this video stream, you can actually build a stack of complex AI models that can act in a similar way to fully autonomous driving. The issue with fully autonomous driving is that it requires high precision lidars, and a single lidar costs like $8,000, so it's prohibitively expensive if you were to scale. And Tesla's technology comes at a relatively lower cost. I'm very curious to see what would be the precision recall of Tesla's AI model versus the LiDAR-powered one, where most of the providers are looking to. For instance, Waymo is like fully LiDAR-powered. But even if they have a capable technology, will they be able to actually disrupt the existing ride-hailing players like Uber and Lyft? I personally don't think that's the case, for multiple reasons. First of all, ride-hailing is a marketplace, so you have a demand side and you have a supply side. If you look at Uber and Lyft, over the years they have built a massive demand side, not only in the US but internationally. Like, Tesla doesn't have that advantage, so they will need to acquire those users somehow. So they're in this challenger position where they don't really have anything to show up for. Secondly, on the supply side, yes, they might have an advantage here. But there's a caveat, because both Uber and Lyft, most of their suppliers are third-party suppliers, which means that Tesla and Lyft doesn't really own any of the assets. And they only rely on take rates as an intermediary in this process. And the take rate could be in between like 15 to 25%. But at the same time, you don't have any capex, like any capital investments into hardware that you need to make. On the other side, you have Tesla Robotaxi, and you need to buy those cars, and you need to keep them in the inventory. An average price for such a car could be $20,000 to $25,000. But an advantage here is that you don't have a driver, so you don't have those extra costs. So I wonder if we compare the profit margins between those two business models and the capital investments required for Tesla's Robotaxi, which one would have the higher ROI and payback? My personal hunch is that third-party model with Uber and Lyft is still going to be more beneficial in the long run, let's say like over the course of 4 years or something. So my personal prediction is that, yes, Tesla is going to be a challenger, but it's not going to disrupt the market. Most likely, they're going to become one of the suppliers in Uber and Lyft and negotiate some deals with lower take rates and so on and so forth. I think that would be the most likely scenario here. But now that we've covered a lot of automotive, I wish you a really great day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time on this channel. Thank you.